Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I'm going to be talking about my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 2, which was titled Another Day in the Diamond. So, this episode, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it more than the first one. It definitely had its own sort of feeling to it, a very different feeling than the first one, of course, because we had completely different characters, two completely different groups in each episode. People were saying this should have been the premiere, and they should have had Morgan episode this week. But it felt more relaxed having the Morgan episode 1 because it was more of a transition from The Walking Dead over to Fear. It felt better, and I like how they did that rather than making this the premiere, which is good. I understand why some more so of Fear fans might wanted this to be first so they can see their characters, whatever. But I still think we got a pretty solid episode, a pretty solid showing of what they've been doing. But I do still expect us to get answers about how they escaped the dam and how they got out and what they did from there and how they got all the way to Texas from there, how they regrouped with each other, how they found Luciana because she wasn't even at the dam. I hope they, I do think they will explain all that in the coming episodes. I think they'll probably do something with Althea, or is it Althea or Althea? I think it's Althea. Althea, I'll just call her Al, but she's probably going to ask for their stories like she has been for most characters. Maybe later on in like a couple episodes from now when they actually trust her, she'll ask them their stories and they'll probably get like 10-minute flashbacks for each character. Maybe we'll have a whole episode of just the stories of these characters, which would be pretty interesting. Just so we can see what happened, how they got from the dam to the baseball stadium, which, by the way, the baseball stadium is an awesome location. I really like that location for the show. I hope they have like a big war go down in the baseball stadium. I think that'd be pretty cool, having a action type battle at the stadium. I do think it's probably going to happen around mid-season finale. It looks like these Vulture people are the main threats, and a lot of people are comparing them to the Saviors and saying they're kind of just rip-offs of the Saviors. Like, they're similar in terms of motives, but that's just realistic for a lot of groups to have those similar motives. To have the motive of supplies. What's the most important thing to keep you alive? Food, water, supplies, weapons. That's normal. And what's gonna cause problems more so than anything is people who want to take from you because they can't find anything on their own. It's pretty simple. So having that motive is not a ripoff. It's just a similar motive that tons of people are gonna have in the Walking Dead universe. And it's just realistic to have more people like that. I mean, the Wolves were like that. I mean, the Wolves obviously acted a hell of a lot different than the Saviors. Saviors were more so, work for me, and, we'll kill you, some of you if we have to, but we want to keep most of you alive. That's Negan and the Saviors. Wolves were more so just kill everyone, take everything, and go. That's what they were. These people seem a lot different than both of those, though. These what they call themselves Vultures, which is a cool name, by the way, they seem like they're more so, like, they're not, like, as hardcore as Negan. With what, like this new guy Mel, you can tell he's very different than Negan in terms of personality. He has that same kind of charmness to him, and he honestly reminds me of Gareth more than anybody, to be completely honest, just by how he looks. Kind of a Gareth look. But it seems like they're just asking for the supplies that they have, asking for all the stuff they have, and they're, obviously Madison said no, and then they're like, all right, we'll just wait here till you die, because he expects them to die eventually. And I think he's just playing with them at this point. I don't think he really expects them to die anytime soon. Maybe they're going to do some annoying things to try to get them killed, but they're not going to directly kill them. Like, maybe they'll lead walkers over to the area. Maybe they'll do something. I don't know. I don't know if they're just going to say, fuck it, and start shooting up the place. Honestly, it's very unpredictable, which is a good thing. And I'm very excited to see where the story goes with this new Mel character, the main villain, obviously. Another thing that I felt was interesting, and I would like to know what they're using it for, is the color saturation of different scenes. So if you noticed, some scenes are brighter, more colorful, more vibrant, and some scenes are darker, grayer, and more grittier in terms of, color scheme. And I've noticed it's obviously, the Morgan scenes in the whole entire episode 1 was like that. It was all gray and gritty. And then this episode was all colorful and vibrant until we got to the past, or not the past, the present, back to present day. So it's like present day is all gritty and gross, and the past seems to be more vibrant and colorful. Now, I don't know how long this past present thing's been going for. People say they don't like the out of chronological storytelling. Personally, I like out of chronological storytelling. Sometimes it can be really interesting. It's better than spending 2 episodes on bringing us back to the damn situation. Like, staying in chronological order, sometimes it's just inconvenient for the fans. It's inconvenient for a lot of people. So when they go out of chronological order, it allows them to tell us the stories that they want before telling stories that they don't care as much about, or they want to order the stories, or order when we learn about certain things in a different way. So we may have to learn about something that happened in the past later on, and that's kind of why they do it. And personally, I find it to be really interesting. I like it. The Walking Dead does it sometimes, and it's honestly fine with me. As long as it's clear as to what's going on, I'm fine with it. And especially with changing the color scheme, like they did here, like they did in the season 6 premiere with the black and white and the color. As long as they make it clear, I am happy about it, and I'm fine with it. They even have little title sequences that say before and after or whatever. So they make it clear, and I'm happy they do, because it makes things, easy. So I also enjoy that new character. I don't really know what the point of the new character, Naomi. I'm interested to see where her character goes. I don't like her as much as I do John and Althea, but she does seem like she could bring some interesting stuff to the table down the line. I'm hoping she does. And, overall, I'm just excited to see the rest of the season. We also have that new girl character, who I forget her name. It's like, is it like Keto? Something like Keto. That's what the guy said. I don't know. I forget what she said to, like, the main group or whatever. I like that twist, how she was, spy. I like that. It was very unpredictable. And at least in my opinion, a lot of people, I did see a lot of people predict it, but like in the reactions. But personally, I didn't predict it. I didn't think about it, even though it made sense afterwards, because she was asking them for information on their food supply, their weapons, all that. It made a lot of sense. And when he was talking about the weasel problem in the turnips, I was like, how the hell does he know? And then they reveal that it was a little girl. I thought that was interesting. I hope that little girl stays around. I hope she maybe, I don't know, changes sides. I don't know. It's not like a war, obviously, right now. We're not like in the same situation as Negan. It's more of these just douchebags who just want to sit outside the baseball stadium and wait. But I can tell you, I'm a hell of a lot more interested in the storyline now than I was in previous Fear the Walking Dead seasons. So I'm glad that they're changing things around. Like I've said once, many times, Fear the Walking Dead, I enjoyed certain parts of it. Season 1 was like meh. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was like, it's the start of it. Of course, it's not going to be that great. And then season 2 came around, and I just did not enjoy the first half of season 2 at all. I watched it, everything like that, and I tried to give as many changes as possible, but it was just not interesting in my opinion. I didn't like the directing. I didn't like some of the writing choices. I didn't like a lot of it. The writing choices, that's just, preferences of the writers themselves. But it's just in terms of directing, even in terms of certain, I wasn't interested that much. It wasn't bad necessarily. I don't think anything was bad. It just wasn't interesting to me. And then once we got to around the episode when Chris started getting weird at like the finale, and I was interested in Chris's storyline, definitely. And then they gave us the banger of an episode, which is still my favorite episode of the entire Fear the Walking Dead series, where Travis just slaughters those 2 guys who killed Chris. I love that episode. That episode was a turning point for me in the series, and I was like, this is amazing. And then the episode after that was pretty freaking good. Season 3 premiere was pretty freaking good. Still had some directing issues, but it was, still way better than before. And then they killed Travis, and that was like a stopping point. I was like, really? Like, the reason why Travis's death bothered me so much is not because of the fact that the character was leaving. That bothered me, but I knew the actor had to leave, so I couldn't be bothered by that. But the thing that bothered me was, first of all, they made it so pointless of a death. It didn't have any impact on anything. It made Madison cry once, and that's it. There was no impact, a long-term impact, or anything. Like, Carl's death has a long-term impact. Glenn's death has long-term impact. All these characters they kill off, or they're supposed to kill off, has long-term impacts. And you're supposed to have the more major characters have those long-term impacts. Short-term characters, like smaller characters, they have short-term impacts. Travis was one of the main characters, so he should have had a long-term impact on the series and on the characters, but he did not. That death didn't mean anything, and it was just weirdly done. It was done at the beginning of an episode. Like, what? I don't know. It just wasn't normal. They could have done it so much better. I know the actor had to leave. I mean, personally, they should have just not killed him off at all. But yeah, actor had to leave, all that problem, so that was whatever. But they would move on with the season, and it was a little bit, slow, and I was like, okay. And then we get the Daniel episode, which was actually pretty interesting, and Daniel was back, and I was like, oh, that's exciting. And Speaking of Daniel, I wonder when he's going to come back season 4, because I assume he will. I don't think they're getting rid of him anytime soon. And then season 3, around the middle of season 3, I was really interested in it, and I really got into it. And then episode 12 and 13 were incredible episodes, and I was like, damn, this is getting really good. And they kill off Ophelia, and I was like, okay. I mean, it was a okay character death, I guess. It wasn't really necessary in every way. It made Daniel have an interesting story arc in the last few episodes, so it was alright. And then they killed off Troy, and that's when I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there was no point of Troy's death, let's be real here. They just killed off his brother and his dad. They just developed his character. He had so much more story left to tell, and they kill him off. And I was like, why? Like, have Madison do it too? No. Troy was really interesting. I really wish he would stick around, or at least he doesn't have to be in it right now. Just, have him stick around, come back later. I don't know. Whatever. Overall, I'm definitely enjoying season 4 more than I have in previous seasons, so that's good. That's definitely a positive. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace out.